Hey there, gang. Welcome to Nerd Alert. Jimmy, James, and we just had the pleasure of interviewing David Zucker, the legendary comedic genius responsible for such movies as Airplane, Kentucky Fried Movie, Top Secret, the Naked Gun franchise, Scary Movie 3 and 4. The list just goes on. He's unbelievable. It's going to take a bit to edit this, but we wanted to get the word out there and give you a little breakdown of what we experienced. He was a phenomenal interview. To be honest, I wasn't sure what we were going to get. He did not disappoint.
And of course, as always, funny guy. I would hope, given he's written some comedic classics. And it was a great pleasure to be able to interview him.
Well, and that's the weird thing that the gentleman we interviewed, obviously David Zucker, was not a comedian, so to speak. He doesn't do stand-up comedy or that sort of thing. And it reminded me the antithesis of like the movie Elf, where James Caan sort of signed on and did it because he thought he'd have a fantastic time with Will Ferrell because he's funny and he's a comedian. But that did not happen at all. And James Caan actually got frustrated that he didn't get that experience. So I wasn't sure what we were going to get with this comedy genius. And boy, he did not disappoint. So much so that there were times where I wasn't sure if he was being funny or serious, but he was hilarious.
Yes, very much that wry wit.
Exactly. And it's so funny because you could say, oh, he's arrogant, but at the same time, because he did talk about films that had been made past his point of involvement, like the newest Naked Gun, and that he doesn't appreciate it or think. And in fact, it's not that he doesn't appreciate it, he doesn't even think about it. It's like, whatever, I have not seen it. It's not mine. I don't care. You could say that's arrogance, but when you talk to him, it's like, it's not arrogance. He's hilarious. He knows what's funny. So why would he seek out something that may or may not be funny? It's not his. He sort of alluded to this with Seinfeld. He's like, I don't really watch sitcoms. Why would he? He knows what's hilarious, and if it's not, why watch it? Which then is a testament to Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David. It's like, okay, they're obviously geniuses too because he enjoyed that.
Well, it's not as if he's spent decades cultivating some of the funniest comedic movies and one of the greatest comedic styles ever. He definitely doesn't know what he finds funny. No.
Well, and this is the hard part about doing interviews like this is I absolutely was turning into, or could have easily turned into, and this might be a little too old for you, Chris Farley's segment on SNL, where he's like, hey, remember that movie you made, Airplane? That was great. And it's like, I really wanted to expand and be like, David, I don't think you understand. My dad raised me on your movies. He's a lawyer, a very serious man, and he would have me watch Kentucky Fried Movie. We watched, there was only 6 episodes, but the Naked Gun TV show. He took me to the theaters to see Naked Gun. I was a little young when Airplane came out in theaters, but we would watch it on TV. These things were my life. Like, this is my childhood growing up, and I feel extreme pride that I was able to pass that down to you so that you saw these. And like you mentioned, your first movie night was Airplane, and legitimately most people hadn't seen it. And I'm like, how have you not seen Airplane? This is, and it's like the best spoof ever of these disaster movies that were huge in the 60s and 70s. And this came out and it was like, boom, laugh nonstop, out loud, with serious. There's no reason why your generation would know, with these serious actors being goofballs. It was amazing.
Yeah. And what I find even more impeccable is that Airplane isn't just an amazing spoof. It's an amazing comedic routine of constant laughs and just the best understanding of how to comedically escalate something, and that every joke is funnier than the last. There is not a single point I can think of in Airplane when I'm not laughing. As in, the joke that's set up is funny, and then the next joke that is set up is even funnier. And I mean, obviously, it's a masterclass in, callback humor and repeated jokes. Don't Call Me Shirley. We're all counting on you, among others.
Nothing is off limits. They're not offensive at all. The Jewish Airplane, freaking hilarious. The Hare Krishnas, I'm sure they were upset, but hilarious.
Well, let's not forget the bare-breasted woman just showing up out of nowhere.
Which When we first showed you, we did forget because we'd watched the TV safe version for years.
I made the same mistake of forgetting that scene was in the film when we did movie night. So,
one of my favorite scenes is when the stewardess is trying to talk to those two black gentlemen, and then the grandma comes on like, "Hey, stewardess, I speak jive," and I'm like, "Say what?" Hilarious.
What's the Victor? Do we have Clarence?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the best basketball players of all time, all of a sudden in a cockpit interacting with other pilots.
And he's not half bad.
No, he was great.
He's pretty damn good.
He was great.
My dad said you weren't trying. Your dad needs to shut up.
Oh, and he's trying. I'm not that guy. That's not me. And then he pulls him in. He's like, yeah. And that poor kid. Hey, Jimmy, do you like gladiator movies?
One of my favorite things to reference of all time. Gladiator movies to me. No.
It just occurred to me. That's Peter Graves, who was that pilot, who was known for the Mission Impossible TV series. And one of the things that David Zucker talked about is one of his latest spoofs is a spoof on sort of the Mission Impossible type movies. That's an interesting connection.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what he comes up with next, because his works have always been classics. There's not a one I can think of where I'm not laughing at something. So it's always exciting to know he's got more stuff in the works.
Like I said, you come up with questions after the fact. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, how he's writing the German language Oktoberfest. There are, like, I've been watching the British version of SNL, and I've realized it's not funny to me. There are segments which I find hilarious, but at the same time, I'm not intimately aware of what's going on in Great Britain, and a lot of it is dealing with politics. So how do you write a foreign language film that's a comedy? Exactly.
I don't know what the Germans find funny, man.
And he admitted he doesn't speak German, so it was like, interesting.
Das Wiener Schnitzel?
Yeah. I mean,
Guten Tag?
That's all they say the whole time. But those sorts of things, it's like, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
and
it is.
It also goes to me like, so you've conquered everything and now you're going to try being funny in German, which the German language is not inherently funny.
I don't know. Every time a German yells at me, I can't help but giggle a little.
Nein.
Das Wurtentuten? That's not a real German word. I'm going to say that right now.
But then the other one, if I understood it correctly, and it was only an IMDb description, Star of Malta. So I have no idea what's really he's written about versus what the IMDb has gotten a hold of. Both of these are, by the way, greenlit in their pre-production, from what he said, is about sort of a martial arts spoof of a dude getting out of prison. And I'm like, okay, you know what? In David we trust. Do it to it, man. Do it to it.
Do we tell him about Iron Fist?
Well, Kung Fu Hustle?
They infinitely less successful. I mean, Kung Fu Hustle's okay.
Excuse me? It's hilarious.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is it It's Kung Pao Fury.
Yeah, not that.
That's the squirrel one, right? It's
yeah,
Kung
that's
Fu
the one
Hustle.
that Chase and his dad loved.
I was thinking of Kung Pao Kung something.
Kung Fu Pao, whatever. Yeah, no. Kung Fu Hustle is the...
Oh no, Kung Fu Hustle is brilliant. My bad. I misremembered. That I remember watching that with you and Bob, and I was like, what are we watching here? And then it just evolved into the dumbest shit imaginable. I was like, you know what?
I was honestly floored when we asked him what his favorite movie was. I very much enjoy The Godfather, but I never expected him to be like, yeah, my favorite movie is The Godfather 1 and 2. I'm like,
well, I mean, he's
cool.
A comedian. He does comedy, but it kind of makes sense because, I mean, obviously, The Godfather, Godfather Part 2 are incredible films. The most I can say about them is that they're not personally films that resonate with me, but it's like, it makes sense in knowing he grew up on film, and so he grew up with a lot of classics and a lot of amazing films,
and that
inspired his works.
That's what was interesting, is he and his brother would watch these old 1950s films that were serious, but all they saw was comedy. And it's funny because Op and I were watching last night some weird Western, I think it was just a TV show, and I started laughing as the marshal came in because he came into a saloon And the saloon had representation of a Mexican cowboy, a Native American cowboy, just everything there. And I'm like, that's hilarious. In 1950, some casting director was like, yes, you look indigenous. You go wear whatever here. I mean, it was a caricature. I wouldn't say offensive, but a caricature of what you'd expect from the Old West. But they were all represented, and it just cracked me up. And I'm like, well, that's what he saw.
And what's even more ironic to that point is that now in the modern era, it's post-irony. It was a genuine attempt to capture who would have been in a saloon in the Wild West. And then, Western spoofs pushed it to the extreme. And then now you have the post-irony that it's like, not only was it a funny joke, it's just somewhat accurate to who would be there. So you have that double jump. And I mean, it doesn't help that we also recently watched Shanghai Noon, which, perfectly lampoons Wild West and martial arts action films.
And you obviously know, because you've known me for 20 years, but you can see why my film school career was somewhat unhinged, because this is what I gravitated to. And James, it's on YouTube, Kentucky Fried Movie. I revisited just like the first 10 minutes, and it's fucking hilarious. Just there's snippets of hilarity, absurdity, a la Airplane, but there's no connecting story. It's just whatever they wanted to do, and it's hilarious. And that's what I always appreciated. But while in film school, I just saw Amelie. Like, cool, awesome,
cool.
But I saw Shanghai Noon, and they're like,
why don't you go shove the DVD of Blue Velvet up your ass?
What's your favorite? What's the favorite class? A Citizen Kane. I really enjoyed It's a Mad World.
Okay.
And these aren't the professors; these are my fellow students. Now, granted, there were a handful that were similarly minded. One of my good friends, Dave Brock, he was very much about horror, and horror was his jam. He knew the classics, but horror was his jam. And then Anthony Sims, another really good friend, he was just a student of it all. And frankly, he tried to find out how he could get kicked out of film school. That seemed to be his goal. And I'm like, dude, you're already here. Why are you? He always tried to push the envelope to see what he could do.
Did he just make a porno? That would have got him kicked out.
No, it had nothing to do with film. It was more of his studies and stuff. Like, he made the films, and he had some very personal films. In fact, he had a couple that were bought by studios, if I remember correctly, but never got made, and it dealt a lot with his dad, who was murdered. So very sad, and sorry to bring the tone down. But yeah,
thanks.
He strove for whatever reason to find out how I think he literally asked in one of our, where we assembled as the whole film school, what do I need to do to get kicked out? And he was like a second year. It wasn't just like, he just got there and it was like, what's wrong with you, dude? Like, I'm glad I know you. That's the weirdest question I've ever heard.
You just know he was disappointed when he walked across the stage and got his degree or whatever fancy title it is at that point. I don't know what it's called for film folks. I know it's a Bachelor of Science because I study science.
It's a Master of Fine Arts is what we got.
Okay.
I honestly don't I think we walked. I know your mommy made it a point because she did not have a great undergraduate career, so she wanted to really live it up as she got a Master's of Science in Coaching Education.
Right.
So she wanted to walk. I honestly don't remember walking, so I might have slept through it. I don't know. Yeah, good days. Yeah,
I can't even be disappointed in you.
That basically defines my life. If I don't want to do something, but somebody else makes me do it, I just kind of float through doing whatever, and then I don't remember doing it. Yeah, you know that.
That's fair.
Mommy's like, "Hey, do you remember this?" Like, no, I don't.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
But I can tell you just about any movie I've ever seen. I can recite it to you. Why? I don't know. Drives your mom nuts.
What? We have to have an encyclopedic knowledge of useless facts.
Exactly.
How else would we be able to function in society?
There are days where I feel like I'm Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine when he deletes the tax code when he got married because now it's legal. And it's like, yeah, I feel like I delete like, when were you born, James? I deleted that because I needed to keep more information for Kung Fu Hustle.
Dude, my birthday isn't even that hard to remember.
I know, it's January 9th no, December
So
15th.
close.
I know.
So close. You were just a month off.
December
You were
15th
just
every
a month
year.
off.
See? I know.
No. No. It's almost as if it happens every year.
So
I'm much the same way. I will have an encyclopedic knowledge of like a bunch of random physics or math stuff, but not for the physics and the math I do. No, not at all. I will blank the second I have to remember basic optics. But believe me, you want me to calculate relativity? I'm right there.
folks, we experienced this on Father's Day. James truly is borderline genius.
Okay, no, let's not inflate my ego more than it already is.
Oh, I'm about to knock you down. But in the escape room, he turned to me and goes, "What's 2 times 9?" And I'm like, "You are fucking kidding me, right?"
Okay.
Oh my God. 18, young man.
All the science people will understand.
Legitimately happened. For real happened.
The higher you go in the math and sciences, the harder it becomes to do basic math. It's a thing, I promise you.
He had his shoes on, folks, so he could not count that.
I couldn't count to 18. I could only get up to 10. And unfortunately, legally, I can't use the counting to 11 method.
They also wouldn't let us have our phones, so he was rude. By the way, suck it, math teachers. I do have a calculator on me almost all the time.
You will never let that go, will you?
No, not at all.
Well, they do have it on you that you do at least have to use algebra sometimes.
I would also like to hit up the English department. Screw you. There are not 2 spaces after a period.
Okay, but in their defense, the Oxford comma is one of the most helpful pieces of grammar ever, and I get so pissed when no one uses it.
And?
What do you mean and?
And the comma. Going after.
Yeah, comma and.
And?
It's not and comma. Comma and.
That went over as well as a knife OJ joke.
Or my the cars joke. I bombed that one even worse. One could say I crashed the cars.
Wow, you're just holding on tight to that. All I can think of is Jason Bateman in the back of my head. You're funny. The fuck you are.
Look, if I keep making the same horrible joke over and over and over again, it'll never be funny.
Oh, wait. I learned this by watching you.
Nice. Oh, I'm so proud of you. An old dog can learn new tricks.
All right, gang. Stay tuned. David Zucker interview is coming shortly. It was one of the highlights of my nerdy career. So I'm very thankful to Zucker and his PR team and everybody for putting this together. Thank you for reaching out. Truly appreciate it. Nerd out.